Hello, Capricorns. Okay, I haven't even pulled your cards yet, and I have to do this kind of like pre-reading message for you. So this is your bonus reading because you kind of tied with Taurus in getting the most amount of the third most amount of views in the October readings. And I wanted to say thank you by doing the bonus readings, but also I thought if there's a lot of people coming to those readings, it might be that those signs need a little bit of extra support this time. Oh my God, Caps, you know you have my whole heart, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like we've been through a journey together. I'm crying right now. You're reading the channeled messages are just so beautiful. Like, you're so beautiful, Capricorns. And so I think I'm gonna title this reading The Fearless Soul. So immediately, I've not even finished tidying away Taurus's cards. Let me just show you. This is Taurus's cards. I was midway through tidying up their cards, and these are the decks I've shuffled. And already, I'm getting messages for you, which is funny because in Taurus's reading, I was getting "Leave me alone" for you. You can see the color. Uh, Dead squirrel words. They cut like a knife. I was wondering if this was for Capricorn energy. And so as soon as I finished Taurus's reading, I started to channel songs, and I got very quickly one after the other. I got Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. So that's I see a red door and I want to paint it black. And Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon by Urge Overkill, which is a song from Pulp Fiction. So the lines that I got, I heard the beginning of the song, immediately came in really strongly. And it says, I love you so much, I can't count all the ways I've died for you, girl, and all they can say is he's not your kind. So it's very dramatic, and it is very, very Capricorn, especially I think because you've had Pluto hanging around your sign. I've noticed about the Capricorns that I know that they've been very, I've wrote that you're metal somewhere. I'm like, you've been very metal, right? You've been very hardcore. And this idea of being, when people get a little bit melancholy, but they're quite theatrical with it. My eldest child has Capricorn in their chart in quite a strong position. They've got like Capricorn Mercury, I think. And so sometimes the way that they like because Mercury is about communication, and sometimes the way they express themselves and they express what they're feeling, and they communicate, they can do it through quite theatrical clothing. So they like dressing up as a plague doctor, for example. It's very dramatic, and they're experimenting with putting my wigs on and doing the makeup in certain ways and wearing kind of really kind of like rock and roll outfits and like being tough. And Capricorns are really tough. I've noticed this about as I've been getting more familiar with Caps, this almost like tough outer shell, like this protective, it's almost Cancerian, it's almost Scorpionic. This it just feels very metal, like Capricorns are very like rock and roll metal. um Even like the song choices that I know my Capricorns mention tend to have this real like rock and roll edge. So yeah, like Pulp Fiction, it's like this really dramatic film. So there's something about the drama of it. I don't know if you're feeling like like the drama of life in the last Capricorn reading. And shout out my friend who said that this resonated with them. I had this thing about life feels like a simulation, and that simulation feels like it's trying to kill you, right? It's like, and I was being shown sort of what's his name? Jim Carrey in the Truman Show, where he's trying to escape the Matrix basically, and the God character, who's this kind of like director father figure, is increasing the waves, and it's like like the director would rather Jim Carrey die in this boat than kind of like escape the simulation. But he perseveres, and this is the thing, this idea of perseverance is coming through really strongly. I just kind of feel like, I don't know, it's a really beautiful reading, Caps. It's really good. Let me get through it, right? So I've got Painted Black. I underlined black. Even notice like the choice of the color, like the color of the pens that I use really sort of talks about the energy. So I'm using the black pen for your I don't know, something drama about the blackness of it. And then there's like pink energy coming in. It's funny. But yeah, Paint It Black. I've underlined black. I've underlined overkill. And then I've got here over dramatic, theatrical, intense, that kind of Scorpio Pluto energy that's still knocking around your chart. I think around this time, Pluto is finally finishing that retrograde and going stationary direct. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna really feel it. You've got something very plutonic about you. It's almost like, oh no, I'm Pluto now, right? It's like, oh, I learned from Pluto and now I'm Pluto. Is the way it's coming through. It's interesting. So this part here of the song, I've died for you, girl, and all they can say. So again, take the gender out of it. But this idea of like, you feel like you died, it's almost like you feel like you've had, like I wrote judgment energy. So the judgment card talks about like death and rebirth in um, a way of being, right? A version of you has died, right? And you're a different character now in this story this story of your life is the way it's coming through. So no longer being the way that you were before. So you've had this kind of like spiritual death or this metaphorical death of I'm not that person anymore, right? I've changed. And then the rebirth aspect of like I'm doing things differently now. I just heard I'm doing things for me. So good for you, Caps. I'm doing things for me, especially following on from Taurus's reading, if that made any sense to you. Um, yeah, I've died for you, girl, metaphorically. So the idea of as well of like the caterpillar going into the chrysalis to become the butterfly, it's still the same soul, right? It's like it's transformed from one character into a different character, but it's the same. The core of it's the same. It's still the same. Yeah, it's still the same soul. I've got here one of my notes, feeling intensely. So again, in kind of just the hardcore nature of this line. I loved you so much, can't count all the ways I've died for you, girl. It's almost like old poetry, you know, like Byron. It's kind of really coming in heavy. I want to say if you're approaching someone again with the idea of overkill, it could be the idea of maybe you're a bit too intense for some people. Maybe not everybody can handle that kind of intensity at the moment, Caps, because I think if you've been going through something that's, what's that word? Sorry, they tried to give me a word. If you've been going through something that's very, I'm sorry, I've lost the word. It's like something like transformative, but like dramatic and transformative. Like you've gone through something that's like, almost like traumatic and transformative through the trauma. Um, it can be hard for people, right? It can be hard for people to talk about, you know, darker subjects. So if you're needing to find people who understand you, because it's almost like it's like you've got an aura. There's this vulture card in the Wild Unknown deck. I wonder if I can find it while I'm talking. I can't actually even see where my Wild Unknown deck is, so that's a big no-no. The Wild Unknown Animal Oracle. There's this. I wonder why I can't find it. There's this vulture card, and it's kind of like emitting this purple glow. I really don't know where that's gone. That's really strange to me. Okay, I guess we're not looking at that then. Oh, yeah, I've got it. Phew, it's fallen down the back. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. So it's like you've got this aura about you. It's like you're carrying this plutonic energy, right? Which is it's scary. This scorpionic energy, it's like you're giving off vibes. You know, like sometimes when people are in a bad mood, and you know, they're just giving this energy and people are like, oh, I'm gonna avoid that person today. Yeah, it's kind of like the panther there. It's kind of like, oh, Capricorn's in this mood. It's like my kid as well, right? It's like if they're in one of those moods, I'm like, I'm just gonna let them do the thing, right? I'm gonna let them get it out the system, kind of that sort of thing. Yeah, but I feel like that. I feel like you've this energy of the experience that you've been going through is kind of stuck to you, and it's made you, it's giving you this. It's like a dark aura, basically, which could be quite scary to people who. It's like it's almost like you feel a bit like you're dangerous to be around, right? It's like you're giving off this. He's always like giving off this purple glow, and of course, vultures are symbolic of kind of like death energy. You know, the vultures circling. So I don't think you're a bad person or anything like that, right? It's just you've got something very intense about your aura at the moment, right? You're feeling things intently, and I want to say there's this almost there's this energy behind it though. There's this like drive behind it. It's like you're not rolling over and crying, and I feel like you've done that, right? You've probably had those moments where you felt broken on the floor and crying and like you can't go on, right? But then like at the moment it just feels like you've got something, it's almost like nothing left to lose energy about you, you know, kind of like balls to the wall. I've got nothing left to lose, so I'm going to do what I want to do is the way it's coming through. It's but in a good, not in a destructive way, in a empowered way. But again, it's almost like you could have people around you who are like, whoa, well, Capricorn's giving a vibe right now, right? It can be a bit much for people. So yeah, like people might be sort of like, I don't quite understand it, or it's scary to me. So, I think I've got this like backing off energy, but almost like you like that. You like that you're giving off that aura. You like that people are backing off is the way it's coming through. It's like, don't mess with me energy, perhaps. Um, yeah, you like I say, that Pluto did some work in your sign and you're owning it, right? It's like, sometimes they say we're chained to the devil, but whether we see ourselves as chained by the devil or we've chained the devil, right? It's like, are we the master of our own shadow, or is our shadow our own ruler of us? And you are the ruler of your shadow right now. I want to say you've got it. um you so those two songs, Paint It Black and Girl You'll Be a Woman Soon, immediately came in. Like I was just channeling that energy. I was like, whoa, Capricorns are being dramatic. Kind of love it. It's like your Snape, right? Your Snape kind of storming up and down the halls with the cape flying behind you. Maybe you're getting dressed up for Halloween. Maybe that's what it is. And then, yeah, so the songs that randomized on Spotify for you, you got The Greatest by Sia. And it's that song where she's like, I've got stamina. But the funny thing is, I was really thinking about this black energy, right? It's like you're giving this, it's just like you've got this black aura. But the funny thing is like at the same time, you're so soft and you're so sweet and you're so kind and you're so generous and you're so good, Caps. So it's this funny juxtaposition of these two different energies. And so as I was thinking about this black energy, like I say, the song The Greatest by Sia randomized for you. And the first thing I saw was her hairstyle, where it's like half black and half white. And I was like, that's it, right? It's like the yin yang, right? I feel like you've done something where you've incorporated your shadow in some sort of way, and it's strong, right? It's really strong energy. So she says, I see another mountain to climb. And the mountain was significant in the last reading, right? The mountain comes out for you a lot. This idea of like, either I want to climb to the top of the mountain, right? I want to be at the peak of my life. I want to be the best I can be, right? I'm really going to, tackle that uphill struggle. I'm really going to climb to the peak and, really achieve things. The idea of like the mountain being an obstacle, but also a challenge that you're willing to face and actually eager to climb that mountain is the way it's coming through at this time. And the idea as well of like, when you get to the top of the mountain, you can see very clearly. There's something about fresh air as well at the top of the mountain coming through. So yeah, this is it, right? I see another mountain to climb because you've climbed them all already, right? It's like, oh, here comes another challenge. It's almost like taking a running jump. That's really funny. I felt it. I really felt it. It's like, in like, if you've ever played Tomb Raider, there's certain things that you can jump over, but there's some things that you have to take a run up to. It's like you're taking a run up at this obstacle. It's like you're running towards the fire is the way it's coming through. It's really cool. And so I see another mountain to climb. It's almost like anticipating the challenge and looking forward to it. And then I won't give up, right? So I was really getting this like 9 of Wands energy because it's stamina, right? 9 of Wands, I won't give up. And I finished kind of like, I was like putting in the cards from the Taurus reading and shuffling, and I finished my shuffle and I flipped it over and it was the 9 of Wands at the same time as I was getting this 9 of Wands energy, because you've had this, right? This is you. This is your card now, right? You've had it for so long, and it's almost like, it's not resistance. It's this idea of kind of like, say you start lifting weights, right? And when you start lifting weights, you can only lift a certain amount of weight. Like that's all you can physically carry. But the more you do it, the more you lift the weights, the more those muscles build up. And it's through the process of the muscles tearing and repairing that makes them stronger. That's how muscle builds up, I think. Not literally tearing a muscle, but I don't know. I didn't do PE as GCSE, so go and ask somebody who understands how muscles work. But as I understand it, it's like your muscle goes through this stress and repair process, and that's what makes it stronger. It's almost like if I fall off my bike, I get right back on the bike energy, which is like the literal meaning of the 9 of Wands, right? So persevering, not giving up. It's the most Capricorn song, right? I see another mountain to climb. I won't give up. I'm free to be the greatest. So this desire of Capricorn energy, and again, who you are as an individual, I think especially your Mars placement, could modify this for you. You could have, not every Capricorn is created equal, but you are free to be the greatest of all Capricorns. And then I'm alive, right? I'm free to be the greatest. I'm alive. So it's like feeling alive again after you've gone through some, it's like an ego death, perhaps. You've gone through an ego death, or you've gone through a it's like almost like a character assassination is the way it's coming through, but you've assassinated your own character, and now you're the Capricorn. Now you're the greatest, right? It's like, I'm not that person anymore, right? That, what's that Taylor Swift song? Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? She's dead. Ooh, look what you made me do. I'm gonna put "Look what you made me do" down as a song. Look what you made me do. I don't really like that. I don't really like that song. When I first heard that song, I didn't like it because to me, it's like blaming somebody else for your own behavior. And I'm like, no, take responsibility for your actions. Nobody made you do anything. You might have lost your control because you weren't in control of how you were reacting to something. And then you made a choice to react in a certain way or do a certain thing. Nobody made you do that, right? So I don't like that idea of like passing the blame for somebody's own bad behavior. But I like the song. The more I listen to it, the more I'm like, ooh, look what you made me do. Yeah, the old Cappy can't come to the phone right now. Right? Why? Because she's dead. So yeah, you've like, it's got something about like, I don't know if you've been watching movies where like, what's that Van Damme movie? It's kind of like, there's two of them. They have to kind of like kill their own clone kind of thing. I don't know if you've been like, I don't know if you've been watching movies like that. Yeah. So, but it's positive, right? It's not anything. You've got this darkness about you, but you're not doing anything bad, right? You're not doing anything dark. So I wrote Caps are hardcore metal, and it was making me think of Titanium. So especially because it's Sia, right? I think is this the Titanium song by Sia? I don't know. But the idea of kind of like feeling indestructible, feeling strong, feeling hard, and it's funny because before I sat down here, I've got a couple of songs that have been coming through for you, and they both mention kind of like concrete and the stone energy. So for a long time, I've been saying that I get this metaphor of like the stone heart for Capricorn, but it's almost like the compression of the stone heart, and it's transformed into something more like metal now. It's like your heart's not stone anymore, something porous about it, right? Flaky and porous. And now you're not the diamond. Hey, sorry, Caps, my phone ran out of battery. I've only got 9 minutes on this phone, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly, and then I'm going to go away, spend some time doing whatever I've got to do, and then I'm going to come back and pull cards. So I'm going to tack on the two readings together. This is the intuitive messages, and I'll do the actual card reading separately. So yeah, yeah, you feel like you're not a diamond heart like Libra, like like Libra's they've got a tough heart, right? They're the diamond because their experience of kind of with this compression energy, they've forged this diamond, like this toughness. You're coming through as the titanium heart. It's like it's almost it's equally strong, right? But it's a metal, it's not a stone. I don't know what that is about that. Yeah, so your heart is transformed, like the concrete heart Capricorn is dead, and now you're the titanium heart Capricorn. Maybe you've had a heart transplant or like a pacemaker or something installed, I don't know. Titanium heart. So you've got this idea of like what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, which can be a very toxic phrase, but I think for you it is the energy of this reading. It is the energy of what I'm getting here, because it's almost like through the suffering, like through the overcoming of the obstacles, through knowing that you throughout your life you've come face to face with these mountains and you thought, however, how am I ever going to overcome this? And then you do, right? And then you get to the other side, and then it's like you look back and you say, hey, do you know what? I'm really good at climbing mountains. I'm really good at problem solving. I'm really good at like dealing with difficult situations. Like I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor, right? It's like there's some kind of big change coming in from with you, with like the way you see your situation. It's it's not like, oh my god, I've got a mountain to climb. It's like, oh, look at all those mountains I've already climbed, this is one more mountain. Like I'll get my climbing boots, right? It's like, because it's coming through this full energy of like the leap of faith, like trusting the universe, trusting your path, trusting, not being scared to do things. It's like he who dares wins. It's like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this leap of faith. I'm going to have this happy-go-lucky attitude, because like, so what? So what if it fails? So what if I fall down? I've already hit rock bottom and I've climbed back up to the top, and I've hit rock bottom and I've climbed back up to the top. So so what? Like, so what if I fall down? I'll just pick myself back up again. I'm brilliant at doing that. It's like this revelation. Ah, Caps, I love it. Like, literally, I was getting these messages. I'm like, tears were pouring down my face. So, your next song is Fix You, which is the Coldplay song, but you had the Fearless Soul version, which I think is really significant. Like I say, I think that's you now with this titanium heart. You're the fearless soul, right? You're the fearless soul because like it's like your strength is built up in a way where it's like you can leap higher, or you can, there's something about the repair process strengthening. It's almost like becoming calloused in a way. Like how, say you're putting flat pack furniture together, you get calluses on your hands, but, or like you wear shoes, right? You wear a certain pair of shoes and they rub you and you get a blister. But it's like if you keep persevering with it, eventually, the skin gets harder and you can do it without it bothering you and without feeling the pain anymore. It's this not in a way that's like toxic or anything though. It's in a way that's strong. It's really cool. So I wrote, yeah, fix you, feel a soul. When you try your best but you don't succeed, and it came in with this double energy and double meaning of you, Capricorn. It's like you've tried your best and not succeeded, but you're stronger. So now it's like you've gone through this process of where you've overcome personal pain, right? You've overcome personal pain, which was the concrete phase, right? It's like learning to strengthen yourself. And then it's like, and now you're strong, which gave me the word reinforced. So like the idea of like reinforced concrete. And then you're being strong enough to help others again. So the again was like really emphasized. So you used to help other people, but you went through a phase where you had to really prioritize the self. You had to really, you were like, I'm getting like, I'm going to fall down here, right? I need to repair my own, foundations, right? I need to reinforce my heart. And now that it's reinforced and now that it's bulletproof, you can help other people. It's like you're not scared of helping other people, or you're not scared of, offering your heart out to people anymore, because you're not scared of being hurt, because you're a survivor. It's really good. Yeah, so that's what I've got so far for you, and it's incredible, and I was crying. So I'm going to leave it there because I am going to run out of space on this phone, but yeah, really good. Really glad I did this reading, because I was getting for you, leave me alone. And I was like, do Capricorns not want a reading? But I think, again, the leave me alone energy was like you were processing, right? You were almost like, do not disturb. You were on do not disturb. I've got to figure something out here. I've got to, I've got to have my dark day. I've got to have my rock bottom. I've got to have my, it's like I've got to climb my way out of this pit on my own. I can't, it's almost like I can't depend. Capricorn is a very independent energy. Do ask for help if you need it. Capricorns can sometimes put all the burdens on their own shoulders and refuse to burden others with their problems. But let people help you, Capricorn. You deserve it, right? It doesn't mean that you're weak if you ask for help. That's an old reading. That was an old message. But like maybe returning the favor, like repaying the favor could be coming up for you, where the people who have helped you out when you've been at rock bottom, it's like Capricorn remembers, right? Capricorn remembers who was there and who wasn't there. Capricorn knows now who's got Capricorn's back, and now you're strong again. It's like they're giving me like the shoulders of giants, right? It's like you can carry the world, you can carry the problems of others because you're in a strong place, and I love it. And I love it because those people deserve it, right? Because those people deserve your strength, because they were strong when you needed shoulders, right? Maybe like a shoulder to cry on. Very cool. I like it. I really like it, Caps. You feel badass. So I love this for you. I'm going to pull your cards and stick on part 2 of this reading now. Okay. Bye. Hi, future me. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I've already done my introduction for you, because this is actually the card part of the reading. I did get some more intuitive messages for you in between. I'm still getting that message as well though, like, does Capricorn want me to do a reading for them? Because just as I was about to start your reading, I was making myself my brew. I've got honey. It looks a bit weird. I've got honey and lemon and ginger, and I've got like real ginger in there, which I've never done before. It's got this weird film to it, but it's quite nice because I feel like I'm doing this on Thursday. The beep beep truck has already been passed. I've got, normally it's coffee with Cappy, but today it's honey and lemon and ginger tea with Cappy because I'm full of a cold. But I kind of feel like we've gone back to a tradition, which is a nice feeling. But yeah, as I was kind of making my tea, you had Linkin Park, One Step Closer, which again is this really angry song. So you feel like with Paint It Black and One Step Closer, you just feel like you've got this really intense energy about you. Remember like the vulture card with that aura? Um, so I don't know if maybe because I had Words Right by Madonna and what did I hear? Like Leave Me Alone. So I don't know if there's somebody who's really nagging you. Maybe it is a mother. The Empress popped out. Maybe it's like a mother figure, like wife, mother, some kind of significant female. Um, I feel a little bit like, is it me? Am I saying something that's kind of like making Capricorn angry? Like that is not my intention, Caps. I'm here to help, right? And that's a very mothery thing as well. Like, mum's a like an interfering mother, right? Like, I'm here to help. And you kind of like, mum, leave me alone. Let me figure this out for myself. So maybe that's the situation. You do tend to get a lot of like father stuff, Caps. You did actually have, oh no, I put the cards away. Oh, what did you have? Ah, why did I do that? From my own deck, you had, I reshuffled this morning and I didn't think to make note of what was already there. You definitely had Saturn. I remember you had Saturn as one of the cards because that is your ruling planet. And you had the black hole card, which came through for Taurus's reading. So if Taurus energy is relevant to you, with the Empress being a Taurus card as well, maybe go and check that out, their reading. Let me know if you have any trouble with it. For some reason, it wasn't loading for me and another viewer yesterday, but later on in the evening, I was able to view it normally. So I don't know if I need to re-upload it or if it's fine now. So yeah, feedback on that would be great. But yeah, Saturn, I was getting this real grinding down energy. It felt to me like with black hole, oh, you had cave as well. I was like, oh, it just feels so Capricorn, right? Saturn and cave, because you've had this cave imagery for the longest time. And to me, it's been talking about this need to you get a lot of kind of like Greek underworld metaphor in your readings. And so that kind of like journey to the underworld kind of thing, that hero's quest that you've been going through while Pluto's been kind of transversing your sign, that real kind of like deep dive, like going inwards into the self and like really confronting your shadow. I'm hearing your demons. So if that's relevant, take it. Yeah, like, I don't know, you get a lot of stuff about addiction as well, and it's coming back up again in your reading. I don't know if you're dealing with somebody who has an addiction or you have some kind of an addiction. The Capricorn card, like the Devil card in the tarot, is about addictions and addictive behaviors. So do be wary about that. Maybe, again, you've been battling some kind of addiction. It's funny as well. In Taurus's reading, I was talking about repetitive movements and how sometimes an addiction is because we have some kind of repetitive pattern and sometimes that pattern is physical. So like for somebody who's trying to give up smoking, the actual act of having something between your fingers and like lifting it to your mouth is part of the addiction, not just the nicotine, right? There's an addictive movement. And it's really funny because I ended up completely unaware that this was on Netflix. I kind of loaded up like Netflix last night, and one of the shows was something about vapes, those Juul vapes. And I ended up just putting it on in the background. I was fixing a wig, actually. I was kind of like sewing hairs into a wig, which I've never done before. And I was kind of like, oh, I'm actually not doing too bad here. This is looking quite good. Yeah, I don't know if that's relevant. I was actually getting wigs for you. Somebody could be, you get drag queen energy sometimes. And then as I was thinking this, I was thinking, oh, is that relevant to Capricorn? The Empress came out. So I think for one of you, maybe there's confirmation there. Yeah, they're showing me wigs. Okay. Move you swiftly on. I've lost what I was saying now. Maybe they want me to talk about the wigs. Oh no, everything's gone. Okay, hang on. Let me reel it back in. Oh, I just need to take a second. What was that? Hold on. Oh yeah, so addictive behaviors then. So this guy was saying the exact same thing that I've been saying in Taurus's reading, like the actual physical movement was the body was so used to doing it, like that movement. And so maybe there is something about addiction as well. Especially, I don't know. You got as well that rehab song by Amy Winehouse at one point yesterday. They try to make me go to rehab, and I say no, no, no. Yes, I've been bad, but when I come back, like there's something about being back to black as well, right? And that black energy. Yeah, your energy's coming through quite strong. Yeah, one step closer. So the lines I've underlined with that are these words make no sense. I think sometimes in my readings when I'm channeling, things come through quite quickly, and it can be hard for me to say everything that I'm getting in that space and that time. So I do think sometimes I am all over the place, and in some signs I find it more like Leo's readings sometimes can be really really like disjointed, and Gemini as well, and you're getting a little bit of that in this reading. And then it says, everything you say to me takes me one step closer to the edge, and I need a little room to breathe. So again, if you need to take a break from tarot readings, if you don't want me to be doing the bonus readings, I kind of need the feedback, guys. I am trying to do a service, right? I don't earn any money from this. I'm trying to be helpful. And if my guides push me to do a certain reading for a certain sign, I do need to kind of like trust them with their higher knowledge. But I'm not trying to confuse anyone. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. And especially if you've got mental health issues, perhaps tarot readings are not necessarily the right time, the right thing at the right time. So again, just something to kind of bear in mind. Like, you don't have to watch the readings if they're not helpful to you, or if you feel like they're pushing you into something, an unhealthy state of mind. I continued to channel messages. I got the message. It's interesting that I'm writing in pink and black as well. There seems to be something about Venus and Pluto energy. So I've got this thing about because Pluto's a really slow moving sign, and Venus is quite a quick planet. It moves, it has a short span around the sun. It doesn't go around the moon. Pluto being quite a slow planet, it's like Venus will go around, and sometimes she'll be in opposition to Pluto, and sometimes she'll be next to Pluto. And this is what they were kind of showing me. So they were showing me so say Pluto's in Capricorn, which it is, and it has been for a long time. If Venus is in Cancer, which is your opposite sign, you could be finding a lot of conflict between like sort of like your shadow, your darkness, kind of slightly more destructive parts of yourself, and romance. So it could be that you're getting into arguments with your partner when Venus is in Cancer, or you love is kind of an aggravator for you when it's opposing Pluto and opposing Capricorn. But when Venus is side by side, right, when Venus comes and joins Pluto in Capricorn, it could be that the vibes are really really good. So if you find that you're in a cycle, especially in romantic relationships, pay attention to where Venus is in the sky and see if you can start to notice the pattern of what happens and when. That could be something for somebody. But I've been getting this kind of Pluto and Venus energy for a while now. And it's almost like the pink energy. So again, this could be like two sides of yourself. The wig, I remember now. So Sia, the Sia song that you had, I was talking about the black and white hair, but in the actual visual on Spotify, the wig turns pink, the white part turns pink. So it's almost like instead of being yin yang and being black and white, it's kind of like, for you at the moment, for some reason, Capricorn, it's like black and pink. Oh, that's it as well. So the cards, the underlying, it was Saturn, the cave, and the black hole, and you had the princess on the underlying. So it's almost like the princess coming to join you in the cave, which I know I've had in meditation with you before, right? So again, it could be two sides of yourself, especially if someone is like a drag queen. You could have your more masculine side and your more feminine side, right? Don't worry too much if that's not the case. It's just talking about kind of like yin yang energy, I think. Or again, it could be you and a significant partner. Now you are coming through very strongly with this kind of like black plutonic energy. So I'm reading the pink energy as if it is another person and not just another side of yourself, the pink energy, the princess energy is another person, right? So, but do flip it around as needs be. So the pink energy was coming, telling the black energy, basically, you are not broken, you are beautifully flawed. So there was something coming through about, again, this really dark plutonic energy, and the kind of devil card for you, right? So kind of like the monster inside, which we all have, right? It's not unique to you. I think you are just perhaps a sign that is, and I'm saying you, but I'm not talking you as an individual person. I'm saying you as the collective Capricorn energy, just to make that clear. But yeah, Capricorn energy seems to be a bit more in touch with their devil energy than and their shadow energy than a lot of other signs. They tend to integrate it a lot more comfortably, I would say. And then maybe there's something about Halloween as well, like Halloween and kind of like dressing up as monsters and being a bit creepy. I've kind of been doing that myself, been making some creepy videos. They're giving me, you know, what we do in the shadows. I don't know if you've seen the pilot episode, but he's getting crepe paper and he's going creepy paper, creepy paper. So I don't know if that's relevant in some sort of way. Maybe I'm getting crepe paper. But yeah, some more of the songs that came through were Not All He's a Monster by Jade Goodreld. Let me just pull that up and we'll read the lyrics. It's funny as well. It's really making me think of like how I ended up talking about Rusty Rockets, if you know who I'm talking about. Rusty Rocket. I don't know why I don't want to say his name. I think because he's controversial at the moment. I don't want to kind of get kind of hate views. But yeah, Rusty Rockets from your last reading, the book that I had out. Yeah, I don't know if you've been like this perhaps in the past, especially if you're a male Capricorn. Maybe you went through a phase where, you know, maybe you did battle some addictions, or maybe you were a bit of a womanizer, and you know, people were kind of warned against you, or if you know, kind of like, oh, he's no good, you know, because you've got that girl, you'll be a woman soon, right? It's like, I love you so much, can't count all the ways I died for you, girl, and all they can say is he's not your kind. So it's almost like this person who's being warned about someone, is the way that the songs are coming through. So obviously don't be in toxic relationships. And again, flip it and reverse it. It doesn't have to be, you know, you're a male Capricorn and, you know, the world's against you. It could also be, you know, you're a female Capricorn and, you know, you're having a lot of trouble with your partner and you're in a bit of a toxic relationship and your partner's, you know, flip it and reverse it. You could be a male Capricorn and, you know, you've got a female toxic partner. So it doesn't mean as well if you've got a great relationship with your partner, because I, for example, have my auntie and uncle are both Capricorns and they're so wholesome, they're adorable, right? So I'm not saying like all Capricorns are bad or anything like that. Again, it's going to be different for everybody, but again, I feel like for some of you it's definitely that you're dealing with someone, like you're supporting someone. For some of you, I was getting this idea of like, you know, kind of when you've battled an addiction, you become like a mentor for people who are battling an addiction. So it's kind of like you then kind of like look out for them, kind of like an uncle energy, I guess. Okay, so not he's a monster. It says at night he'll make it feel like a good time, two-faced, but you're seeing one side. Again, that two-faced energy, right? The yin yang. Just walk away like you know you should. Sunrise slipping away in daylight. All of his charm is a white lie. Call you his queen and make it seem so good. Chilly bang 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 knocking at your door. Bang 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 trying to start a war. Like a madman screaming, seen it all before, you know that you've been warned. So that like a madman screaming and banging at your door, it's making me think of people who are battling addictions, especially when they're coming off it, right? Either like they've had too much of something or they're in withdrawal and they're a bit desperate to get the next fix, right? So, and there can be a lot of different addictions as well. Remember, like you can have things like sex addiction. So, you know, if someone really wants to, like, if they're really, really riled up, you know, they might be you know, and this person pops around for a quick woo, you know, it could be that, you know, they're getting a bit out, you know, a bit kind of about it. So it says, if you see him coming, tell him that he's a ring ding ding, he's a monster. Get your pistol out the holster, a liar, a cheater, a runner, check. So don't say yes. A ring a ding ding, he's a monster, right? So he'll have you hanging out on high hopes, running on top of a tightrope. Just walk away like you know you should. So yeah, it's it's like knowing someone, right? It's like it's coming through like the feminine energy knows the masculine energy is toxic, is plutonic at this time, right? Well, and then we had Sin by Robbie Williams, which comes through as like very persuasive, right? He's trying to get his ending, kind of like he's trying to have a little dip, you know, and he's being very, very persuasive. It's like, what would Jesus do? Kind of like, I don't know. So again, it could be somebody who's very charming and very persuasive sexually. I've dealt with somebody like this when I was very, very young, and I would, if that comes near me, I'm like, monster, run away, like, you know, fool me twice, shame on me kind of thing. And then you got that down song, that down, 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 which was giving me just this sense of like, I mean, maybe going down, which again, your sex life is your business, Capricorns. But with you having Saturn, the cave, and the black hole, it felt like, I remembered the last card. It was like you have to go deeper down, right? It's like you had to go journey deeper into the underworld, like deeper and deeper and deeper, or like you were getting almost like spiraling down into a darker place. It was like you kept on, it's almost like being ground down, because Saturn has this grinding energy to it. So it's kind of like, it's almost like because Saturn is your ruling planet, and it can rule kind of like work and kind of like hard graft. So again, it's kind of like almost like a millstone. It's like this grinding down is the energy that I'm getting from it. And so this grinding down and pushing you down deeper and deeper into the hole, deeper and deeper into kind of like the dark cave, basically. And like not being able to get out. It's like almost like quicksand, I guess. It's like everything you do to get out of this dark place, every movement just kind of like sucks you deeper, is the feeling of it, which I know you've had a really hard time of it, Caps, and I do see an improvement on the horizon. So again, keep bearing with that. As I was making the note of this song, I spelt down D-W-O-N. So somebody could have dyslexia. I know I get this sometimes for you, like I've been writing with my left hand in your readings. I sometimes get this thing where the words aren't coming out correctly when I'm doing Capricorn energy, so there could be some kind of dyslexia or something like that, something to do with words and spelling and language. But it was looking to me like Dwan, like maybe it was a name, you know, like Dwan, I don't know, or D1. So take that as well if it resonates. I don't know if there's some kind of self-destruct thing going on here. But then you got Bittersweet Symphony by the Verb. So let me just get my notes on that. So again, I'm just getting like confirmation of this feeling, like confirmation of this song. There's Rehab. They're trying to make me go to rehab. So she says, yes, I've been black, but when I come back, you'll know. Yeah. And if my daddy thinks I'm fine, right? But she wasn't fine. She should have gone to fucking rehab. And which, again, if we're talking about Rusty Rockets, if you read his book, it was actually the intervention of his manager, I think he's called John, and the basically tough love, which again is Saturn, the tough love that said, right, no, you're going to rehab, you know, whether you want to or not. And he, like, Rusty Rockets tried to kind of, you know, squirm his way out of it and make excuses. And like his manager was not having it. He was like, mate, I don't care what you say, you're going. And it was the breakthrough for him. And it was what actually, I think he tried rehab and things like that a few times, but that intervention was the light switch going on for him, and that's what finally worked for him. So yeah, do go and read his book. It is quite interesting. Just, you know, don't, obviously he's a complicated character. I'm not saying he's a hero or an anti-hero, right? He's just a bloke making his way through life and doing the best he can and taking his opportunities when he can. And you know, I don't believe in thinking of people as good and bad, but I do think he is a bit of a reformed character. I do think he still has personality traits that need something extra self-awareness on, but again, it's not for me to judge other people. I'm a terrible person myself, right? I'm not the greatest. You're the greatest, right? The greatest. That was one of his songs, right? Bittersweet Symphony, because it's a bittersweet symphony that's life. Trying to make ends meet, it feels so Saturn. I was like, this is the most Capricorn song. Trying to make ends meet, you're a slave to money and then you die. I'll take you down the only road I've ever been down, right? Down again. You know, the one that takes you to the places where all the veins meet, right? So the heart. No change. I can change, but I'm here in my mold. But I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can't change my mold. No. So yeah. Well, I've never prayed, but tonight I'm on my knees. I need to hear some sounds that recognize the pain in me. Yeah, so this idea of kind of like, I need the catharsis of tarot, right? The catharsis of these readings where, you know, someone speaks your pain or someone kind of puts their finger on the nail with what you're experiencing and what the problem is, when sometimes it can be hard to have that self-awareness when we're, you know, deep in it. So I do hope these readings are helpful. But the thing is, this down energy, it had the feeling of like, well, if I'm in a relationship, especially with that princess pink energy, Venus energy hanging around, the Empress energy, it's almost like, well, I'm going to drag you down with me, because like the only road I've ever known is this one that drags me down, you know, that grinds me down, that drags me down. And so if I get into a connection with you, I'm going to also drag you down, is the way it's coming through. I'll take you down the only road I've ever been down with this. It's almost like Saturn pressing down on your back and being forced into the cave. But down at the bottom of the cave, the bottom card was portal. So it's almost like you've got something computer gamey about your reading as well. So it's almost like going down all these different levels. Oh, a bit like Minecraft, right? Very similar to Minecraft. So if you've ever played Minecraft, you start in the overworld, which is like the grasslands, like trees, grass, sheep, that kind of thing. And then you go caving and you work your way down all these different levels. And eventually you get low enough that you find lava and diamonds and obsidian. And with the obsidian, when you're really low down, you can go and craft a portal. And so, and then you can go into the nether, right? So, which is a different realm. It's a different stage of the game altogether. So this idea of like going down, 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 and then finding the portal is very similar to Minecraft. I wonder if that's what they were trying to get me to. But then it's like, so you feel like, and maybe this is why, right? Maybe this is why Saturn, which is your tough love father planet, is pushing you down in a certain direction, because they are trying to get you to, it's like you're not meant to go back up to the overworld, right? You're meant to go through the portal. So I'm going to say that's a metaphor. Obviously, I don't want anyone, especially if you're in a very black, depressive state, you need to go and get help, right? You need to go and get intervention. You need to go and get the treatments and things that are available to you. Maybe you've already tried a lot of these, but I do want to say, don't do anything to hurt yourself or take your own existence away from you. That's not what I'm saying, and I need to make that really, really clear. But again, it's almost like you're being pushed into an uncomfortable stage, because you're meant to go through that uncomfortable stage and face your fears and then come out of the portal on the other side, is the way it's going through, rather than it being something that you should be resisting or trying to get away from. Again, a really similar metaphor would be like Rusty Rockets going to rehab, right? He tried to get away from doing this. He tried to say, I'm not sick, I can get better, and all this kind of stuff. And he had to kind of hit that rock bottom moment, like bedrock. He had to hit bedrock in order to come through the other side of it. So there could be something like that. Again, it doesn't have to be you, it can be somebody around you. You had Waiting by Madonna, and it came through with the sentence, test your metal. I was actually using tinfoil, and obviously tinfoil is like a kind of metal, and it was like, test your metal. Yeah. So Madonna, I'm not surprised that you've got 2 Madonna songs either, and then the Empress has come out, because you've been getting a lot of this Mother Mary, Madonna energy in your readings recently. So Waiting, it says, I know from experience that if you have to ask for something more than once or twice, it wasn't yours in the first place. And it's hard to accept when you love someone and you're led to believe in their moment of need that they want what you want, but they don't, right? Again, I'm like, is that somebody dealing with somebody with an addiction? Right? And like, charming you to get what they want. And then, like they want money. So it could even be like a kid who wants something, right? Like your own child. And it's like, they're all like hugs and kisses and Mom, Dad, I love you, I've tidied my room. And you're like, what do you want? It's that kind of energy, but like an adult who's still doing that behavior, like really charming, really seductive, gets into a relationship with you, takes your money and runs, that sort of thing. Or like they're just there for the sex, and but they'll tell you all the like, the pretty little lies, the sweet things in, you're my queen, you're the only one for me, I'm changed, I'm a different person, all that bullshit, right? When it's like, oh, here we go again. So don't go breaking my heart like they said you would. Baby, you're no good, and you hurt me like no other lover ever could. Don't go making me cry, you're going to say goodbye. Tell me why, or you're going to have to justify this waiting for you. So yeah, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem good, right? Especially with that Jade Goodriel song, Not Ah, He's a Monster. Okay, so that is kind of where we're up to, I think. Let me just quickly double check. Yeah, I think that's all the songs for you so far. If anything else is that I've missed, I will put it into... oh, no, you had Bad Romance as well by Lady Gaga. I want your horror, I want your design, because you're a criminal as long as you're mine. I want your love. I want your psycho, your vertical shtick. I want you in my rear window, baby. You're sick. I want your love, right? And then, so that was making me think of like... because it's mentioning all these like horror movies, right? So, and it's like your vertigo shtick. So myself, like with it being Halloween, I've been doing kind of like silly little skits kind of thing, and I don't know. It's like the performance of it kind of thing, like the dressing up as like Halloween kind of thing, where you're dressing up as, a demon or a witch or a ghost or a ghoul, and you kind of being all creepy and doesn't mean I'm like that, right? I'm actually quite a nice person. But giving that shadow space to kind of like come out and be seen and perform is quite empowering. It's quite fun. And as long as you're not actually doing any actual harm, like the whole Vertigo shtick is quite fun to do. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I want your loving and your lover's revenge. Such a banger, that song. And then the other song was Mary Magdalene by FKA Twigs. Now, I do associate FKA Twigs with Capricorn energy. She is a Capricorn. She's amazing. So talented. And you got Mary Magdalene, which again is like the Mother Mary energy, Mary Magdalene. You're getting a lot of these kind of Mary references. So Mary Magdalene obviously is accused, or there are versions of her story where she's a prostitute. And interestingly, Venus, the goddess Venus, is the goddess of prostitutes. She's the protector, the patron of prostitutes. And it's a very empowered song. It's an interesting song. So it says, a woman's work, a woman's prerogative, a woman's time to embrace, she must put herself first. A woman's touch, a sacred geometry. I know where you start, where you end, how to please, how to curse. Yes, I heard you needed me. Yes, I'm here to open you. But I know your heart is blue. I'm a fever for the fire, true as Mary Magdalene, creature of desire. Come just a little bit closer to me. Step just a little bit closer to me. I can lift you higher. I do it like Mary Magdalene. I'm what you desire. Come just a little bit closer till we collide. Again, this kind of something seducing you, right? Something seductive, which again, if you have some kind of addiction, the addictive substance or the addictive behavior itself can be this siren energy. Come just a little bit, just one puff, just one little drink. What harm could it do? But it's never just one, right? So again, if this is sexual temptation, I don't know, but it's the Empress, right? It's the Empress. The Empress is an incredibly positive card, a very powerful card. So I don't know if there is some confusion around something that is seductive and you not knowing if it's good or bad. Because you've had this before. I know you had it before with, there was a song that was like, oh, just give me a second. I'll see if I can pull it in. Hold on. Okay, so I've got the song. It says, who are you when I'm not looking? You're like an angel sent from hell. Despite those eyes that hooked me, when I'm not looking, you are someone else. It's Someone Else by Grabbits and Rez. Now, this is really funny because it was a channeled song, like middle of the night. I heard it and I'd never heard it before in my life as far as I'm aware. And sometimes I get songs like a radio gets turned on in my head. So I'm hearing this song that I'd never heard before and I had to go and track it down, right? And eventually I found it and it was this. So it's yeah, interesting. Yeah, like an angel sent from hell. So it has that idea, right? Mary Magdalene, she's this really complicated character that's, she's full of that Venus energy, right? She's full of this very, very womanly energy. And yet, the temptress, she's the siren, she's the Venus Aphrodite. And yet she's also carrying this kind of like mothering energy, like she's there to heal this person. She's there to help this person. And also, she's carrying this kind of like, I don't know, why do we think of that as devilish? Like, why do we think of that as devilish? I don't know. Perhaps because we're called to it, because perhaps, I don't know. Let's not explore that too much. I need to get into the cards because you're getting a lot of intuitive messages. I'm just going to barb the Empress there. Right. The zebra showed itself for you, which again was giving like the black and white energy, the idea of like being authentic, like true identity. What do we have for Caps, please? Highest messages for the highest good of Capricorn. Zebra, zebra, and cheetah. Leopard never changes its spots is what immediately comes to me. Also, you've got this thing down here of like the rose, Neptune, and the arrow. Again, the rose and Neptune, the rose kind of indicate almost like a Knight of Cups energy, like a romantic gesture, somebody trying to approach somebody. But with Neptune, again, there is some deception or confusion or rose-tinted glasses around that situation. It doesn't have to be romantic, although the rose indicates that there could be something romantic going on. Neptune and the arrow talks to me about a sense of direction, right? And really kind of like almost like a direct route, a direct line to what you want. So it can talk about communication, it can talk about action, kind of like the knights. So it's almost like with the arrow and the rose, it's kind of like the Knight of Cups, if you're familiar with that card. But arrow, again, it's got this idea of like direction and focus. It's very Sagittarian energy to me, actually. Sagittarius and Mars, which I've got a Sagittarius Mars placement, which is why that's what maybe it makes me think of. But with Neptune, it's got this feeling of not knowing where to aim, right? It's kind of like you've got your arrow kind of primed, but you don't know. There's some confusion around it, or it's kind of like having to shoot an arrow but being blindfolded. So yeah, there's Neptune is always a. They're telling me a mind F, if you know that phrase, a mind F. Right, so zebra, the zebra, very individual. It's Aquarian energy for me. It talks about like showing your stripes, right? So a leopard never changes its spots. So be a leopard, right? Don't try and be something that you're not. So both of these are kind of carrying that message to me. The elk there as well, this emperor energy. There's the dad energy, right? The emperor, the perfect man energy. But then you've got a leopard never changes its spots. So is that true? Because you've got those songs, right? You've got those songs that are kind of, again, kind of like self-derogatory, right? It's kind of like you see your flaws, you see yourself very clearly, right? You see your better nature, and I think you see your worst nature more clearly. It's like the focus seems to be on the shadow at the moment. Maybe because you spent so much time with your shadow in the last few years with Pluto being in your sign, that deep dive, right? So you're very, very familiar with your own inner monster. You know, your worst parts of yourself. And I want to say maybe with you focusing on those, you're kind of missing the best parts of yourself. You know, even the Empress, even the highest, the Emperor and the Empress, right, in the tarot, the the best you can get as your human form on earth, right? This is the pinnacle of masculine and femininity. You know, these people are really showing up and presenting their best selves, right? They're really, really doing well, but they've incorporated the shadow because they've been through, you know, they've made the mistakes, right? And they have the maturity and the self-control and the self-awareness to really step into their best version of themselves. So it's not that they don't have flaws, right? It's like they're both this energy. They're both maybe this is why we've got like these doubles. They both carry yin yang energy. They both carry both light and shadow, but they're very good at kind of putting the best foot forward, you know, integrating their shadow in a healthy way. So something like that. So with this idea of like a leopard never changes its spots, it's this thing about self-awareness of your own flaws or your own inner monster in a way where it's kind of like that's who I am, and I have that kind of self-acceptance, you know, whether it's again, like, you know, when you go to an AA meeting, you go and you say my name is whatever, and I'm an alcoholic, right? It's like, this is who I am. I'm an alcoholic, you know, and it's not the only thing that I am. It's only part of who I am, but I accept that this, when I look in the mirror, you know, that's my story at this time. And I don't have to be in the grip of the addiction, but, you know, I can be 10 years sober, but I'm still, that inclination is still there. I'm aware of that little demon on my shoulder, right? And, you know, being like, especially if you've had a bit of a bad past, a bit like Rusty Rockets, right? It's kind of like, that phase of my life is forever part of who I am. It got me to where I am today. And yes, I may not be that person anymore. I may have grown and evolved and gone through the caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly process. You know, I'm never going to go back into the chrysalis and be a caterpillar again. I'm never going to be that lower version of myself again, because I've had those revelations, right? But that is part of who I am. That is almost like, how do I explain this? Almost like it's almost like aging, right? Like being a child, being a teenager, being an adult. It's kind of like you can't remove the child stage. Like once you've got to an adult, you can't say, "Oh, I remember when I hit that kid on the playground because he took my sweets. I wish I hadn't done that." You know, it's like that memory, that part is still there. But then the acceptance of like, you know, maybe it's something about like the toolbox of life, right? As we grow up, as we mature, we become more and more, we get more strategies, right? We get more ways of dealing with things. We get more, I say it's like getting tools in your toolbox. So when you're a kid, when you're a toddler, if somebody upsets you, all you know how to do is like scream for your parent, scream and cry and cause a fuss and get attention because someone's upset you, or you hit them, right? It's like, or you just kind of like crawl off. Like there's not many options. But as you kind of age up, you start to get these different tools available where you think, right, do you know what? I'm going to try and talk it through with that person, or do you know what? I'm going to you know, write a poem about how that made me feel, right? There's different ways of processing. And every time we learn a new technique of how to deal with something, it's like putting a tool in our toolbox or putting a book in our backpack of life. And so the self-awareness of who I was then, who I was at age 17, just plucking an age out of the air, is not who I am now. But I recognize, like, when I look at that version of myself and I see the bad choices I made, even if I made them consciously, I recognized that I was always going to make that choice because of the circumstances and because of, you know, what was packed in my toolbox at that time. You know, and, you know, having acceptance and not necessarily forgiveness for the self, although if you can, that's very high vibrational, but acceptance of like, I can't change that. You know, that happened and I need to own it. It could be something like that for you. And I do think Capricorns are very good people. I do think you're very, very hard on yourselves. I think you have a bit of that kind of Virgo and perfectionist energy where it's kind of like, I don't know, you know, like cancel culture. It's like you say one, you could be fucking Jesus, you know, you could be Jesus. Jesus would have been cancelled because they'd have been like, oh, you know, he got up to a load of stuff when he was younger. I don't know, I can't remember the Bible, but I think he was a bit of a rumman when he was younger, right? So it's like, oh, you remember when Jesus did that one thing? Well, he sacrificed himself for the good of the entire, you know, human race, like all of humanity. He kind of, you know, did that so we could forgive our sins. He kind of did a really good thing, and like, yeah, but do you remember when he turned the wine into water? You know, like water into wine. Do you remember when he did that? Do you remember when he spiked the punch bowl, guys? Like, and it's like, well, okay, so, you know, it's not like one striking you out. Life isn't one striking you out. Life is, hey, go out there and make mistakes, you know, and then figure out why that's a mistake, and then maybe stop doing that, right? Maybe apologize to the people you've hurt. I don't know, a different way of looking at things. Right. Let's see what this pack has for you. This is feeling the Wild Unknown Tarot, the Wild Unknown. There's something about that. It's feeling very right for you at the moment. What do we have for Caps, please? What do we have for Cappies? Cappies. I hope that you are happy. You've got the Pilgrim. What's that Scott Pilgrim film? It always makes me think of that. The Pilgrim. So the pilgrimage, climbing to see the mountain again. You always get caves and mountains every single time. You've also got the offering, the pilgrim and the offering. It has that feeling of, it's funny, I do wonder if there's some kind of tie-in with Taurus's reading, because I had the idea of pilgrimage in their reading as well yesterday. So maybe do go and check that out if you've got strong Taurus in your chart, you're dealing with a Taurus. If you're going on a pilgrimage with the Taurus, go and check it out. And the offering as well. The offering is about offering yourself up to the universe in service, a bit like what I'm doing with the readings, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I enjoy doing them, but they do have the good moments and the bad moments. They can take a lot out of me. They can get me in my own head. Sometimes if the reading's particularly dark or traumatic, you know, it can have a bit of an effect on me. You know, I get very uncomfortable with those things. I would love every single reading to be happy, but again, that's life, right? That's life. That's what people say. So the pilgrim, I do actually want to read what the book says on this. Okay. 20. So the I was going to say the age 20, so maybe there's something about when you were 20. The wanderer, the traveller, the apprentice. For the pilgrim, an outward journey is always an inner journey. I can't speak. I'll bring it up here. For the pilgrim, an outward journey is always an inward journey. This archetypal wanderer seeks wisdom, experience, and meaning in the farthest reaches of the globe and in the deepest regions of the spirit. Others will wonder when the pilgrim will settle down and claim a more conventional life, but the pilgrim knows that the heart belongs in motion. When there is motion, there is freedom, expansion, and growth. Responsibilities, social conventions, and logistics lull us to sleep, and soon the pilgrim becomes veiled in the slumber of the day-to-day. Yet when this archetype awakens, it rallies our sense of adventure and leads us out of the door towards a new reality. With the pilgrim at your side, you'll never lack courage, nor do you need every amenity. Travel light, travel soon, your spirit needs it. So I'll kind of show you that. When light learns, grows, adapts, studies. When dark, aloof, non-committal, and flaky. Capricorns, shadow Capricorns. We all have a deep longing to answer the call, to get unstuck. What are obstacles between you and the door? It feels like the flip side of Taurus's reading. Really, really does. Even in the stillness of meditation, the pilgrim feels the movement of the heart towards what it loves. So it's almost like a mix of kind of like the star energy and the Eight of Cups energy. It's this feeling of like something's missing. I need to explore. I need to travel. I need to find out what's out there. Like what is calling me. Let's get then. I don't know why I've put the zebra and the cheetah away. The cheetah is an energy of like fast movement towards something, kind of like the arrow, right? The arrow is like, I know my destination, I'm heading straight there. But you can talk about bursts of energy as well, like, you know, quick bursts of energy. Five of Cups, the sad horse stuck in the stable. It's funny because Taurus's reading ended with the Five of Cups. This idea of kind of like, well, that was disappointing. That didn't work out for me. That was disappointing. But the thing is, once he lifts his head up and gets out of that kind of sad moment, he'll see that there's two cups still standing. The Father of Swords, and then this idea of like strategizing. Okay. Oh, that was a weird noise. It sounds mechanical, but it's funny because that's how my boss blows his nose in work. That's what he sounds like. He's like, I always picture, you know, like Dumbo when he sneezes and his ears come out. He's like, right, okay, I'm going to do your spread. I don't know why I need to pull cards on camera for you, but I do at the moment. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if you just don't trust me or something. Right. Caps, cappies. I want you to be happy. What do we have going on? What's the message for Caps right now? So 3 shuffles. 1, 2. Look at these cards hiding. Yeah. Oh, you are hiding. You're doing something, but you're hiding it. Like the Neptune and the arrow, very, very similar. Or you're disguising your intentions regarding something. Yeah, same cards. Literally very, very, very similar energies. Like, look at that. Like, I'm telling you, again, I don't know if you think I'm making this up. I'm not making this up. Can't control the cards. The Rose, the Ace of Cups, the offer, the love, the gesture, the Moon, Neptune, some confusion or illusion or delusion around this. The Arrow, the Knight of Swords, exactly the same. Movement towards something. Movement or communication, an action towards a certain goal. Moving towards love, but you've got to go through this confusion stage is the way I'm reading that. Absolutely. That's 3 shuffles, right? Page of Cups. Yeah. Feeling insecure about this. I want to say maybe you feel like you want to approach somebody. Maybe you feel like the Page of Cups as well with Neptune, like they're both Piscean energies, and Pisces, and the Moon card is Pisces, so huge amount of Pisces here. I do wonder if anyone's got like Pisces Venus placements with the Cups and the Moon. It's feeling like I want to approach somebody. I want to reveal my heart, but I don't know how to do it. It's like the arrow says, I know what I need to do. I can see my target, but I've got to go through this delusion or confusion, or it's feeling very unsure. The page is very, very unsure. They're only just learning about love, right? So it's kind of like, I never know if people are flirting with me or not. I have a lot of Libra in my chart, a lot of Venus energy. So flirting is a friendly interaction for me. You know, like, I don't know. It's like, the more comfortable I am with somebody as a friend, the more flirty I can get with them. So, and then I have to be really careful because, like I say, for me, being very flirty is just being a way of being friendly. So then I have to be careful not to confuse other people, right? Because if I'm kind of like, hey, at people, they're going to be like, hey, how are you doing? And then and then people do that to me. And I'm like, oh no, that's not what I was doing. I was not flirting, right? It's kind of like, yeah, it looked like flirting, but it wasn't flirting. I was being friendly. So it's a very, very Libran thing. Maybe a very Piscean thing as well. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I do think I can accidentally confuse people and make people uncomfortable as well, because if they think I'm flirting with them and they're not interested, it's kind of like, oh, and then I'm like, oh no. And then if I do think somebody likes me, I can't I can't be around them. It makes me really uncomfortable. It's like I don't know how to act. You know, if I like, say for example, I did kind of like someone, or I thought they liked me, it's like I have a malfunction. I can't, it really throws me. I just don't know how to act around them anymore. And because it's like, well, I can't be myself, because myself, my natural self is like friendly and flirting, kind of very open and hi. And then, so it's like, well, I can't be like that because they think I'm flirting. So now I have to kind of be cold and like Ice Queen and Queen of Swords. And then it's like, and then they're like, what have I done? And I'm like, you've done nothing. You've done nothing. I just don't want to encourage. Right. So it's like this really awkward thing. So, and again, that's because I don't have a lot of dating experience. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do if I wanted to go out dating and meet somebody new. I would be Page of Cups energy. I would not know what I was doing. So this is like blockage. And then, yeah, like I need to, so maybe that's the thing. It's kind of like, well, I wanted to do this, but I'm confused about it. So now maybe I need to go in a different direction. Maybe I judged this situation wrong, something like that. Messages for the highest good for Capricorn, please. What are the messages? What are the messages? There's that moon again, you see. The Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands, like, just look at how lovely this card is. It kind of looks a bit like the Lover's card. The Four of Wands, it can indicate kind of like a home, right? I call it my tent pegs card. So it's the idea of like, if you put the 4 posts in and you make them really kind of secure, you know, you can build on top of that. So it's kind of like a foundational card for me. It can talk about celebrations as well. So if somebody got married, you'd have a celebration. That would be Four of Wands energy, sort of Four of Wands, Three of Cups. It talks about milestones, kind of celebrating, you know, your progress and all these kinds of things. So it just looks really nice. And look, they're looking at the mountain. It's kind of like looking like a little date, right? A little date. You go to the beach at night, have a little picnic, go and look at the mountain. So maybe this is what you want to do, right? You want to say, hey, like, let's go to the beach, let's go and look at the mountain, but you just don't know how. With that moon there, and again, with the mountain symbolizing an obstacle to overcome, right? And the moon being there, something about like there's another hill you have to climb, right? Right, okay, what do we have for caps, please? What do we have for caps? Oh, quite a few from the Witch's Tarot. I knew the Witch's Tarot was calling to me. Knew it. I knew this was your deck this week. Okay. Yeah, there's the deception. There's deception. Something's not what it seems. Yeah, there's like there's something that you really shouldn't. If your instincts are saying don't trust this, then yeah, don't trust this. This is a card about being guarded, holding back. With the Knight of Cups, there's something a bit Narcissus about this, right? Like Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection. Maybe somebody's got a really big ego, right? Maybe it's kind of like, no, block this. Like Four of Pentacles can be like a shield for me. So the Four of Pentacles is kind of like put your shield up because this person's in love with themselves. Which isn't a bad thing, right? We should love ourselves, but maybe like it's leaning into narcissism. There's the Empress, though. I mean, right. So if the Empress loves herself, it's kind of like it's legitimate, right? It's like, well, the Empress does love herself. The Empress is all about self-care, right? The Empress is like, I know I'm the greatest. Capricorns, I know I'm the greatest. Like, it's like on one day Capricorn's like, I'm the greatest, and the next day Capricorn's like, I am the worst, I am a monster, and then the next day I'm the best. It's like, Capricorns, I love you so much. I love Capricorns. Right, so yeah, I'm the best. I know I'm the best. I've got this. I'm beautiful. I look in the mirror and I say, hey, sexy. You know, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. And maybe because you're the best, you're very guarded. There's different ways I can read this. The World card against all big energy. Yeah, I knew this was your deck. Look at all these major arcana. So you've got 4 cards. And 3 of them are major arcana. Wow. So I'm going to reshuffle. We'll see which order they want to come out in when I put them all together. But this is your deck, 100%. I knew it. The Witch's Tarot. Let me show you. Like, when I was deciding which decks to use, I was like, there's something very Capricorn about this. Again, this is a very Pisces card. This is the moon in this deck. I was like, I just knew. Like, like this kind of like high priestess energy. I was like, that's the vibe I'm getting. Really, really is. Okay, let's put all these in and we can kind of see which way they want to come out at. Let's just try and make sure we don't have any two decks next to each other. Let's just rearrange slightly, guys. Yeah, I don't like that Seven of Swords. What's under the Seven of Swords? Nine of Pentacles. And then you're getting a lot of this Two of Wands, Two of Wands, Two of Pentacles. I keep seeing it. Like a decision, a choice. Some deception around independence, some deception around... This is your card, the Nine of Pentacles. It's the Empress in waiting. Are you deceiving yourself about how well you're doing? Or do you... It's either you think you're doing really well, but really you're not, which I don't think is the case. Or... You know, like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And you're not really fine. But, you know, Katy Perry, they ask how you are and you tell them that you're fine, but you're not really fine, but you can't get into it because, you know. Or is it... Could be something about disarming as well. Like, because this is about taking the swords off the battlefield so that it can't be used. It's about disarming the enemy. So disarming the... Like, you know, somebody who is very charming, very disarming. Or is it about deception about you don't see how awesome you are? You know, you're thinking yourself as being small, but you're not really small. Could be either way. I don't know. Right, let's see which order they come out in. So what's the story, please, for cats? Whoa. The Empress just absolutely shot out there. It's funny because it's the first card that came out as well for you from these decks. Like, yeah. And I said this is your deck. You are the Empress, right? Yeah, you think that's what it is. Either you think you have... I think it's something like you have to do it on your own, right? The Nine of Pentacles is a very independent energy. It's a single energy, where the Empress has, you know, a whole family, a whole community, a whole tribe around her. So I think the deception is that you have to do it on your own, where actually if you look around you, I think because you are a very nurturing energy, I think Capricorns really show up for the people who are closest to them. Like, you don't deal with time wasters, right? You know your worth normally. So placing a high value on yourself. And then, sorry, the energy's very scattered. I'm trying to understand it, so I'm a bit here and there, but take what resonates, leave anything that doesn't. So having a very high value, knowing that you're the Empress, you know, really showing up and having a good handle on things. You don't have to do it alone, I want to say. Or is the deception that someone's single when they're not really single? It's like they're married with kids, right? The Empress is like a mother, a married energy. Yeah, the moon, you don't know. Or you're confusing somebody else about this. Somebody could be pregnant. The Empress and the Moon, that's pregnancy. 100, like, not 100%, I'm not saying everybody's pregnant, but the Empress and the Moon, it's a very, very strong indicator of pregnancy. It's a feminine ovulation, basically. The Emperor, you can see she's normally depicted as being pregnant. Now, this actually talks, the Empress being pregnant talks about... potential future abundance. She's kind of ripe with prosperity. You know, she's like, you know, the Empress goes on to make things grow, to nurture. So it doesn't have to be literal pregnancy. It could be metaphorical pregnancy. What's the Moon? There's a huge amount of deception around this reading, though. Like, definitely the World. Why is the World here? The World talks about, yeah, you don't know. Maybe somebody's at a distance from you. Maybe this could be like an internet connection. But the World is about learning all the lessons that you can in a certain phase. It's kind of like things are wrapping up. You've gained information. You've learned everything you can. So it is about learning. It is about knowledge. The oak tree as well. Like oak trees seem... I connect oak trees with Capricorn energy. It's kind of like, I'm wiser now through this experience. Here's your Emperor, the deer. Deer symbolism you get a lot. The lion, the eagle, and the man. something like, with the Empress being a very, she's wearing green, and this is your deck again, right? Like being very grounded, right? Being very earthy, being an earth sign, you know, being very good at the practical side of life, showing up, making things grow. It's almost like you planted a seed, right? You planted a seed and it turned into an oak tree. So this could be about raising your family. The Empress is connected to, I'm really seeing the oak tree. The Empress is connected, right? She has roots. She has a history. She has a background. She has the place that she grew up in, who she is, like, and who she is part of the place. What they give me? I grew up in this place. I want it all. I'm addicted to my addictions. Is that Lana Del Rey in the Weekend song? Did Taurus get that yesterday? Because like I say, Empress is Taurus, so some of you could be like, not a cusper, but it's not in my notes, but it could be in the song list for Taurus. Somebody had it. I'm addicted to my I wish I could remember who had it. Hold on, guys. I'm going to pause actually while I look into this a little. Yeah, I'm quite certain it was Taurus yesterday, Prisoner by Lana Del Rey in the Weekend. I'm a prisoner to my addiction. I'm addicted to a life that's so empty and so cold. I've been in Hollywood for too long. Okay. So yeah, and right, celebrating whatever you've learned, whatever you've it has the feeling of like metaphorically you've done something where you've planted an acorn and it's grown into a full oak tree, right? So an investment that's grown, or something like this, a time investment. I don't know, but then it's like wanting to celebrate this. Like, I've seen this through to completion. I've made this thing grow, and now I want to celebrate it. But I'm juggling, right? It's like I'm weighing up my options. I have a decision to make, but there's all this confusion around it. Or other people, because this isn't your deck, right? Other people want to celebrate that I've grown this thing, but I have this indecision. This is very Libra. I'm trying to balance something. I'm trying to balance the situation out. Could definitely be about your home life. Empress, Four of Wands. It very brief, very, very simply, it could be like starting a family, growing a family. It could be about lineage, right? The Empress is the queen of the home. The Four of Wands is the home. The oak tree symbolizes home life, family, connections, roots, branches stretching out into the future. Acorns are the product of the product. Communication. I want to say this is communication coming into you, because you're feeling indecisive, because you're confused. You don't have all the answers. You don't have all the information you need. So the Knight of Swords would be the information or the news coming into you. And then what, please? I can't remember what cards are left. Okay, love. Yeah, there is a connection. There is somebody who wants to show you their heart, right? Somebody who wants to show their appreciation for you. But I want to say you're scrutinizing this, you're analyzing it. It's like you don't trust it. And then the Magician. The Magician makes dreams come true, and it's your card, right? It's come from the Witch's Tarot. So the Magician makes dreams come true. They have all the tools they need to make something happen. So it has the feeling of maybe feeling a bit stuck, right, in this indecision, because you're confused. You don't have all the answers. You're waiting for information to come in. You're waiting for news to happen. You're waiting for this new relationship to blossom. It's like kind of like waiting for the baby to be born or something like that. But then it's like when you have the cup, I feel like the cup is, I was talking about your toolbox, the toolbox of life. I feel like the cup is being added to your toolkit in a way, because it's like the magician has the sword, he has the pentacle, he has the staff, the wand. So it's kind of like once you get the cup, you can make a dream come true, right? You can make something happen. You can, it's kind of like fairy godmother energy almost, right? Yeah, because he takes a dream, he takes a concept, he takes an idea, he, she, they, and with the tools at his disposal, because he has everything he needs, he makes something happen in the physical. So it's kind of like bringing something from the etherical into the physical. I don't know why it's giving me like, you know, Jesus turning water into wine kind of energy. Okay, so let's get you a song to wrap up this reading, because that's pretty good, Caps. I feel like you're getting back on top form. So yeah, just hang on, because there is something coming towards you. I want to say there is information coming towards you. What do we have, please, for Caps? So whatever song is going to do the most good, please. The highest song that's going to do the most good. Madeline by Kiki Rockwell. Madeline, tell me at what time do you set sail? There's no one in this town that could hold me. Already packed my bags, could leave today. Girl at the front of the line, I'm sorry, but I cannot let you sign. Your arms are far too skinny, and you'd never last a single day upon my ship. The open sea is no place for a lady. There's reasons that they say we cannot board. So what's happening is Madeline is going to the singer Kiki Rockwell, who's dressed as the captain, the pirate captain, right? She's a female captain of a ship, and Madeline's saying, "I want to join your ship." And the captain's saying, "Well, no, you can't. That my ship is no place for a lady, right?" So if I want to say you're the cappies, right? My captain. I would say that you're the captain of the ship. And you have this princess character, right? The Madeline character. So perhaps this is somebody who's very young. Perhaps somebody who's young and inexperienced. You know, they still wear the heart on the sleeve, which makes them vulnerable, right? And you've got a ship full of rough, piratey seamen, right? And you're kind of like, I can't let you board my ship. Like you're a skinny little naive, vulnerable thing. Like this rough boardy ship is not like where you should be. But then she says, before you say, but Maddie, you're a lady too. Oh no, Madeline's the captain of the ship. I've long ago denounced that wretched word. Madeline, tell me what time does your posse ride? Because I've been chopping wood and starting fist fights. Surely this time let me at your side. And then she replies, girl at the front of the line, I'm sorry, but I cannot let you sign. You've only tried a pony at the school fair. You wouldn't last a day amongst my men. The canyon is no place for a lady. There's reasons that they say we shouldn't ride. And then it says, but before you say, but Maddie, you're a lady too. I've long denounced that wretched word, Madeline. Yes, I might scream and sing and sob and dance, but I can... Oh, I love it. I got goosebumps. Yes, I might scream and sing and sob and dance, but I can swing a sword just like a soldier. So, Maddie, won't you give me just one chance? So it says, so she's saying, I can do whatever a man can do, right? Just give me the chance. Which, again, society, hi. We live in a society. Because then it goes on to say, girl at the front of the line, you'll have to work twice as hard for half the pay, feeling it. Right, like women do, like they tend to have to work harder and they get less pay than the male equivalents. Like this is a common known thing. But if you can deflect the filthy comments, one day you shall rise up and take my place. The battlefield is no place for a lady, so no one would expect to see you there. And if you use this trick to your advantage, girl, you'll cut them to your knees as if in prayer. Ha! So the captain of the ship turns around and says, hey, let me teach you a few things. Like the fact that you're a woman, it's like almost like let them underestimate you. I think that's what this is, right? Let them underestimate you. That's your trick, because the magician is a trickster. Because again, you've got all this femininity. I have to work harder for half the pay. Saturn, right? But what you have that other people don't have is resilience and determination to succeed, right? Where a lot of people will fall by the wayside, you having your nose to the grindstone is going to make you stay there longer than the others. Hmm. Okay. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that brought you some clarity. Um, I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out for you. Let me know if it was relevant in the comments. I'd love to hear kind of if it resonated and how it resonated. I'm always really curious, but if you're not comfortable sharing, don't feel like you have to. Right, okay, yeah, take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. I'm going to go out for a walk now because it's the last bits of summer sunshine. It's a really cold day, but it's sunny. So I'm like, I want to go out. Yeah, so I'm going to go for my walk. I will see you again soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye, friends.